Hello and welcome to Ted's Video Corner. In a change-up, I'm going to do my list of the top 20 best remake cover songs in rock and roll. And this is just my personal favorite. This does not reflect anybody else's opinion or surveys or anything else. So before I start, I will say that I'm not going to be playing these or showing video clips. And before I did this, I did a little bit of research, and this is why I'm not going to do it. There's someone, and you can look up the name, Beato, B-E-A-T-O, has done hundreds of these videos relating to music and plays bits and pieces when he can, because he has gotten videos blocked, demonetized, and copyright strikes against him, which could affect his entire channel. So I don't want to get into any of that. So I'm just going to run through a list to avoid any potential copyright issues, etc. And if you want to look these up, I think I will give enough information that you can find them, because these are not really obscure songs as such. So to start with number 20, I'll start with a group that had a copyright issue with their name. This would be originally the Chicago Transit Authority, which they got in trouble after putting out their first record with the real Chicago Transit Authority. Weird that they could simply wipe out the Transit Authority and use the city name Chicago for the name of their group without difficulty. And although they don't generally do remakes off their first one, which is titled Chicago Transit Authority, the song I'm a Man, you should listen to that. That's really great. Great remake. And using a city name, it seems, is okay. There's another group that uses a city name, and it will come to me eventually. Number 19, Vanilla Fudge, You Keep Me Hanging On. The Motown song slowed way down and played very heavy, and I think everybody knows this song, unless you're very young, because this was late 60s. Number 18, Aerosmith. And the obvious choice there would be Come Together, but I'll go with something different. Come Together, they did a good version of it, but it is pretty much a straightforward version of the song. They do it well, but they don't change much. The other one, which is my choice, Remember, then in parentheses, Walking in the Sand, which is radically changed, made much heavier. A really different version, and that's what I like, when you make changes to it and something really different. Number 17, Ronnie Montrose, a name you may not be familiar with. Probably best known that when he went out on his own, he was originally with the Edgar Winter Group at some point, and went on his own. His first couple, his singer was Sammy Hagar, before he left to go solo. So Ronnie Montrose, this instrumental, Town Without Pity, a 60s vocal converted to a complex instrumental composition, and this is one, look up and listen to it. Really, really good. Number 16, maybe a surprise, Hank Williams Jr. redoing the Warren Zevon song, Lawyers, Guns, and Money. Warren Zevon, songwriter, but his arrangements that I've heard tend to be straightforward and not really what you would call overproduced. Well, it seems like Hank Williams Jr. sort of throws everything in the kitchen sink at this one and does a really good job. Number 15, Three Dog Night. They made a career out of covers and remakes. Their big hits, and there's 20 or so big radio hits. I don't know if they wrote any of them. But my pick, The Show Must Go On. That is my favorite of the bunch. And I'm only mentioning groups once. So you're not going to find the same ones showing up again. Number 14, The Carpenters redoing the Beatles song, Ticket to Ride. They have done a lot of remakes. And then they have had songs written for them. But this is my choice, and Karen Carpenter, what a great singer. Number 13, Yngwie Malmsteen. Now he has done quite a few remakes, covers. He has an entire CD full of them, and has scattered some others around. Some very bizarre, such as redoing an ABBA song, but he makes it work. However, this one that I'm choosing is a remake of a song by the British progressive group UK. Stands for United Kingdom, not the University of Kentucky. So, this was a group with John Wetton, Bill Bruford, and Alan Holdsworth on their very first. They only put out 2, and the lineup changed, with the exception of John Wetton, the singer and bass player. Relatively unknown group, and Yngwie Malmsteen pulls out In the Dead of Night and redoes it, and just really, he throws everything at it. And I will give some credit here. The drum flurry at the start of this, Anders Johansson. So I will mention the name, because when he comes in, it's like he wants you to forget about Bill Bruford, which was the original drummer. A great drummer, but this guy is really trying here. Their second record for UK, they replaced, Alan Holdsworth left and was replaced with a violinist and keyboardist, Eddie Jobson. And the drummer that they replaced Bill Bruford with, this guy's phenomenal. Terry Bozzio, a name you may not be aware of, but this guy can really fire down. Okay, I spent enough time with that. Number 12, Heart Without You. And I think that's a Nilsson song. A great job on that. Ann Wilson, really great voice, and she kills this. Number 11, Elton John, Pinball Wizard. After you hear him play it, the Who's version sounds a bit weak. Number 10, Blood, Sweat and Tears, God Bless the Child, which was originally a Billie Holiday song. And Blood, Sweat and Tears jams this one. Number 9, Van Halen. Now, there's 3 really good choices for this. Van Halen did quite a few covers with David Lee Roth, and Oh Pretty Woman, they really did that so good that you never want to hear Roy Orbison do it again after you hear Van Halen play it. Also, the same with You Really Got Me, which I like the Kinks original. But after hearing them play it, I mean, it's like, it just blows it into the weeds. But the one I choose, because it's so bizarre, it's so out there, You're No Good, from their second one, which is a remake of the Linda Ronstadt song. Now, her version is great, but this one is just so different, and that's why it's on my list at number 9. Number 8, Yes, and they rarely do a remake, but their version of America, they jammed that. Check that out. Really good. Number 7, Manfred Mann. And there is an obvious choice, Blinded by the Light, which is good. I like it. And they also did another Bruce Springsteen cover, Spirit in the Night. But this one is still another Bruce Springsteen cover, which I'll choose for number 7, For You. And they really jazzed this one up. On to number 6, the Electric Light Orchestra. Roll Over Beethoven. Their extended version of that, doing the song with all the Beethoven stuff thrown in and a lead done on a violin, which sounds really good. That's an easy one to find and check out. Number 5, Deep Purple. Now, on their first 3 records, they probably did more covers than originals, and some bizarre ones at that. Some ones you would just not imagine Deep Purple to do, like Lelania, which I believe is a Donovan song. They redid Help and We Can Work It Out. Actually, their hits were remakes. They remade a Neil Diamond song, but this one is really different. River Deep, Mountain High. You have to hear this to even imagine what they could do with this song. And Richie Blackmore's lead at the end is just really warped. Number 4, the iconic movie intro, 2001. It's very short, but Deodato may have never heard of the name, more known as a producer, did a version of it, a jazzy version, which almost made it to number 1 as a single of 45 back then. The song was extended. The original is barely over a minute in the movie, but he extended it to almost 9 minutes. And with a rhythm section of Stanley Clarke and Billy Cobham, how could you go wrong? That's one to really check out. Radically different. Number 3, Impellitteri. He did we'll start with this. Since You've Been Gone was a hit, and I believe a remake for Head East, redone in a heavier style by Rainbow. Then Impellitteri does it with the same Rainbow singer, Graham Bonnet, and really just takes it to an extreme. But my choice is his movie theme from The Wizard of Oz remake, Over the Rainbow. He really takes that song, converts it to an instrumental, and makes it something else, put to that old blues beat that you'll find on many songs, such as AC/DC's Ride On. Now, we're getting close. Number 2, the Yardbirds, The Train Kept A-Rollin'. A song that they made almost their signature song, but it was not an original. It was a remake. And supposedly, the writer did not like it. Did not like what they did to it. But with Jeff Beck at the helm, they made a great version. And now that it's available readily, the Yardbirds live at the Anderson Theater with Jimmy Page at the helm, he fires a lead on that's like, where did this come from? And that is really great. That's something to look for. Both versions. The Jimmy Page live version was something that was hard to come by, because, once again, of some type of copyright issues. When it was put out on a record long, long ago, it was knocked down and recalled. Somehow, in the 70s, in the mid 70s, I came up with a copy of it out of a bargain bin. And now to number one, my choice, number one of all time. And if anybody can guess this, I'll be shocked. And this is not obscure, although it is old. Les Paul and Mary Ford, How High the Moon. This song did hit number one around about 1950. And when people have talked about technology, the recording technology, and they've wondered how in the 70s could Led Zeppelin, yes, Alan Parsons, or Boston, that's the city name there that I couldn't come up with earlier, how could they have done all this great stuff with the technology of the 70s? Well, Les Paul did things with less. In the 70s, you could have bought equipment better than he had for $50 at Radio Shack. So he was an innovator in the multi-tracking and had very little to work with. And he created many great songs. This just being one. This hit number one, and it is really good. Check it out. I'm sure you can find it. This is a really great performance. They've done many others, and with all sort of effects and multi-tracking, different speeds and etc. He did a lot with very little. And not only did he show off the technology that he didn't have, he showed off his ability, but he created really good stuff that was very influential. And now I'm going to end. If there are some obvious things that I've missed, or not obvious, if you have a remake or a cover that I should listen to that you think is really impressive, leave me the information in the comments and I will check it out. Thank you very much for watching, and God bless.